Today we're going to talk about a composer from the Czech Republic by the name of Antonín Dvorak. He was born in a little village right outside of Prague. His dad was a butcher. His dad would play the zither once in a while, but his dad was mostly a butcher, and he wanted his son, Antonín, to also become a butcher. However, Antonín was an amazing musician, and he started playing violin by the time he was 6 at the local church. And then by the time he was 16, he moved to the big city of Prague to study at the organ school, a music conservatory. So what made Dvorak's music so different, stand out so great? Well, he was a master at blending different types of music. He blended the Czech folk music and the rhythm of the dances, the dunka, the polka, and all that. All the melodies, even some of the melodies of the folk music, the Bohemian style, he blended that with the European style, the strictly symphonic structures, similar to like Beethoven, the lyricism of Schubert, even some of the dramatic things like Wagner. He blended those, but also he blended it with American music. How American? Yes, like American music, like the African American rhythms that you'd use, even Native American melody lines he would use. How did America have anything to do with this? Well, on the other side of the ocean, in the New World, there was a woman by the name of Jeanette Thurber, and this lady was very, very wealthy, but also loved art. In the year 1885, she founded the National Conservatory of Music of America, and she was very forward-thinking. She allowed anyone and everyone who loved music and showed interest in music to be accepted. It was open not just to white men like many places, but it was open to women, people of any color, even people of disability were welcome there. And she went and invited Antonín Dvorak, because she liked his music, to become the director, and she offered him a massive salary. So he's like, yeah, I'm coming over. I want to see this new world because I'm living over here in the old world. So he went over and became the director, and she encouraged him. She said, I want you to create a new music, the new classical American music. Well, what was Dvorak going to do? Of course, he loved music. He was already blending the European and the folk kind together. So he went about and he found the spiritual music of the Native Americans and also of the African Americans at the time. And he blended all that together. One of the most beautiful and recognizable pieces that he wrote is actually called the New World Symphony, and it is about America. And if you think about it, how American is that for music, to blend it from all the different things, because that is what American is. It is a big blending spot. And even I've done a video on Gershwin, who is so American and so recognized, and one of the things that sets him apart is that he blends all these different styles of music. So maybe that is what American music is, American classical music is a blend of all different nations, different backgrounds into one beautiful, harmonious piece. Well, after 3 years in America, which he really loved, he missed his homeland and he went back to Prague. He resumed his position. He was a professor at the Prague Conservatory. He was very well respected, very well loved, and he continued to write. He continued to compose symphonies and string quartets and all kinds of other music. And at one point, he even wrote an opera. His operas, he wrote several albums. They were all in Czech. They weren't in Italian or in German. No, they were written in Czech, and they were based on old Czech fairy tales. Very folk, very true to who he was. And they are lovely. He remained there in Prague and taught and composed and conducted until the very end of his life. And then in 1904, he passed away. He has been buried in Prague, and you can go see him. I would encourage you to listen to any and all of his work, but if you are not familiar with him, listen to the New World Symphony, and you're probably going to recognize the main tune.